The following podcast is intended for mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised. So, kids shouldn't be listening. Elton says fuck and shit a lot, sometimes fucking shit, but rarely does he advocate actually fucking shit. You get it. Enjoy the show.
Okay, so I'm late with the next episode, which if you are a regular listener, you'll know is exactly on brand. So I'm going to try and, who knows, do a little figurative soft shoe to buy myself some time and possibly cajole my idiotic hijinks into some semblance of consistency. I am constantly at war with myself.
It's outside, reach out, performing the podcast, but it's up another formulate, outside, sauce, releasing this shit, hot time, saying make that shit, to colonize. This outside rates up and away.
So as a compromise, dear listener, you're going to hear a lot of noise, so I apologize for that. Between me and you, I offer this short-isode. Short tiny sode? Anyway. Or it's kind of like a preview for the episode to come. So, okay, so maybe it's more of a teaser. But not really. I'll let you decide. I'm kind of winging this. The first part, this little bit, has to do with a little bit of the episode to come up. You'll probably be able to put it all together once I drop it, which is what people say they do with content now. They drop it like a turd. So this is from a book entitled Curiously Compelling, The Curiously Compelling Bathroom Reader from Uncle John. They are really great books. They're like compilations of just fun information. And so this is loosely related. This short little bit is called What Won't They Tax? They say the only certainties are death and taxes. Death may be the better option. Background. Oliver Wendell Holmes called taxes the price we pay for civilization. I believe that. I subscribe to that idea? Is that the right word to use? Anyway, it's the price we pay for civilization. But few things provoke more outrage in people than being taxed. The first recorded tax evader was imprisoned by Holy Roman Emperor Constantine in 306 AD. The greatest revolt in English history occurred in 1381 when Richard II imposed a poll, or head tax. Yeah, not that kind, but physical head, head is pretty physical. The good, the fun kind. I think he's talking about the anatomy of, your head. So the head tax in 1381. The first armed rebellion against the newly formed United States was Shays' Rebellion in 1786 by New England farmers against property taxes. And the Whiskey Rebellion, of course, of 1791 against a liquor tax, because goddamn, never stand between an American and getting boozed up. Shit's not going to turn out good. Okay. During the French Revolution in 1879, all tax collectors were rounded up and sent to the guillotine. Fuck. Imagine picking a job just because you're going to help your family out. It's a pay bump. And a couple years later, you're getting strapped down to some wood with a blade over your neck. And you're like, fuck, all I wanted was better shoes, man. Fuck me. Anyway, They were all rounded up in 1789, the tax collectors, that is, and sent to the guillotine. And despite all that, governments persist in extracting revenue from their reluctant citizenry. Here are some of the more peculiar examples through the centuries. Urine tax. You heard that right. Urine. It was imposed by the Roman Emperor Nero around 60 A.D. Why urine? Why pee-pee? Well, the contents of public toilets were collected by tanners. Tanners being the people that treat leather. I guess urine and ammonia and things like that are really good for that, for treating leather and make it, I don't know, pliable or something, whatever tanning is. But that's what it's talking about. It was collected by tanners and laundry workers for the ammonia. Ha! There it is right there. Which was used for curing leather and bleaching togas. Wow. You know, I never actually thought about why the togas were so white back whenever people do Roman parties. The togas are always white. How do you keep them white without laundry things, I guess, like machines or bleach and stuff? Well, piss. Piss helped that out. Wild. So Nero slapped a fee on the collectors, not the producers. That would be strange. And it was such a tax raiser that Nero's successor Vespasian continued the tax when his son Titus complained about the gross nature of the tax. Vespasian is reputed to have held up a gold coin and said, "Non olet," meaning this doesn't stink. Wow. Burn. Then there was Peter the Great with the soul tax. Peter the Great was the Tsar of Russia. He imposed a tax on souls. In 1718, meaning everybody had to pay it. It's similar to a head tax or a poll tax. Peter was anti-religious. He was an avid fan of Voltaire and other secular humanist philosophers. But agreeing with him didn't excuse anyone from paying the tax. If you didn't believe humans had a soul, you still had to pay the tax. A religious dissenters tax, which means don't like religion, taxed. Like religion, soul tax. Peter also taxed beards, beehives, horse collars, hats, boots, basements, chimneys, food, clothing, all males, as well as birth, marriage, and even burial. You were taxed when you were done, even after you were done. That's crazy. Then there was the bachelor tax, a favorite strategy of governments to encourage population growth and raise money at the same time. Julius Caesar tried it in 18 BC. The English imposed it in 1695. The Russians under Peter the Great used it in 1702, as did the Missouri legislature in 1820. The Spartans of ancient Greece didn't care about the money, though. They preferred public humiliation. Bachelors in Sparta were required to march around the public market in wintertime, stark naked, while singing a song making fun of their unmarried status. Wow. My, how times have changed. Man, now we just imprison people for not wanting to have babies. Anyway, moving on. Fucking Jesus. Wig powder tax. In 1795, powdered wigs were all the rage in men's fashion. Desperate for income to pay for military campaigns abroad, though, British Prime Minister William Pitt the Younger levied a tax on wig powder. Although the tax was short-lived due to the protests against... Who protests against... Anyway... It did ultimately have the effect of changing men's fashions. By 1820, powdered wigs were out of style. How about that? Otherwise, we'd still be wearing them. We would not. We would not. They're a fucking asshole. Especially when they were just mostly used to cover up the effects of syphilis. So, thank God we have vaccines and stuff for that. Well, Well, for now. We might not, next year. Window tax. Pitt the Younger, who did the wig powder thing, he also tried a chimney tax, but found that windows were easier to count. People paid the tax based on the number of windows in their home. The result? A lot of boarded up windows. Ouch. Way to get out of the... That's anyway. Long distance tax. On June 30th, 2006, the U.S. Treasury Department stopped collecting a 3% federal excise tax on long-distance calls. Yay! Familiar to bill payers as one of a list of taxes tacked on to every phone bill. The purpose of the tax? To help pay for the Spanish-American War in 1898. Yeah. Phone service was so rare at that time that the tax was intended to impact only the wealthiest Americans. But the tax intended to impact only the wealthiest Americans persisted long after that war ended. And virtually every American household ended up paying it. It's not often you get to kill a tax. Treasury Secretary John Snow said after the tax was repealed, particularly one that goes back so far in history. Taxpayers can file for a refund for the last 3 years the tax existed, but not for the previous 105. Note, there's still a 3% excise tax on local phone calls. Didn't know that. I don't even know if that's still a thing with cell phones. Probably not. Here's an ancient Arab proverb for you. Eyes are of little use if the mind is blind. That is deep. Okay. Now the next bit. This is even more related. It's called If Elected, I Promise to, ellipses, Some politicians come up with strange campaign promises. It rarely gets them elected, but it does make for good bathroom reading, which is what this book is all about. Politician Andrew Hewitt-Luggett, running for mayor of Kelowna, British Columbia in 2005. His promise? Free crack cocaine for anyone who volunteers to pick up trash. God bless him. Let's get the whole country addicted. I mean, you'd have to want to do crack. I mean, that's a double downer, isn't it? If you're like, well, first I don't want to do crack and I don't want to do... You could just opt out. Okay. Background. Utivlect reasoning. The town had too many crack addicts and too few garbage collectors. That is a problem. So why not let the crack addicts pick up the trash? The work, said Utivlect, would be so satisfying that they wouldn't even want the crack anymore. Because, as doctors will often tell you, you can usually kick an addiction by just picking up garbage. Also, he proposed moving all of the city's homeless people to the local landfill, where they could learn to manufacture products out of the trash. What a big heart he has. The result? Utivlect lost. He finished 4th out of 5 candidates. Man, I wonder what that 5th guy promised. Okay, the next one. Politician Silvio Berlusconi. He's an Italian prime minister running for re-election in 2006. His promise? To abstain from sex until after the election. Well, hey, there you go. How would we know? Anyway, background. At a campaign rally in February, Berlusconi was blessed by Massimiliano Pucedudu. a famous Italian televangelist who congratulated the Conservative Prime Minister for the strong stance on family values. Yeah, to show his appreciation for the blessing, the 70-year-old Berlusconi, who is married to actress Veronica Lario, proclaimed, "Thank you, dear Father Massimiliano. I will try not to let you down, and I promise you to..." And hold on, let me start again. Thank you, dear Father Massimiliano. I will try not to let you down, and I promise to you 2.5 months of complete sexual abstinence until the election. 2 whole months. Phone Jesus and tell him that. I'm sure he's going to be impressed. And tell his God Daddy all about it. My 2.5 months. The heavens will burst forth with light, saying, "Unbelievable." Anyway. Was the result? No word on whether Berlusconi kept his promise, but he did lose the election, so damn. I wonder if it was because he fucked his wife. Politician Jackie Wagstaff, who calls herself J-Dub, oh my god, running for mayor of Durham, North Carolina in 2005. Promise to form a hip-hop cabinet full of streetwise teens. That's always good, to pander to teens in an election they can't vote in. Background. Running on the Gangsta platform, the 46-year-old former city councilwoman acknowledged that because most of her support came from young African Americans, that was the demographic she was targeting. To prove her street cred, J-Dub bragged about her checkered past of run-ins with the law. Although she wasn't alone in this, 8 of the other 17 mayoral candidates also had criminal records. Well, hey, look at that. I guess it's not as odd as you would think to elect someone with a criminal record, convicted felon and such. Anyway, J-Dub said she wanted to get drug dealers off the street and into her cabinet because they already have some business skills. The result? J-Dub lost. She received less than 5% of the vote. Ouch. Next one up, politician Percy, running for U.S. Congress in 2002. Promise, rough, bark, bow, wow. Background. Percy, a dog, challenged Katherine Harris in Florida's Republican congressional primary. No one has a realistic expectation that a dog can get elected, said Wayne Genthner. Genthner? Doesn't matter. Percy's owner and campaign manager. That's who Wayne Genthner is. I don't know if he's around still. Anyway, but plenty of people will be willing to vote for a dog to represent their discontent with the political system. He then added that if elected, Percy promised to be obedient. Don't you wish your representative in Washington could do that? The result? Percy never got a chance to run. The Florida Election Board ruled that he was ineligible because he's a dog. I'm glad they caught that. So, Genthner ran in his place and lost. Damn. Politician Jacob Haugaard, running for parliament in Denmark in 1994. Promise, better weather and tailwinds for Danish bicyclists. The background? Haugaard is the founding member of the Party of Conscientiously Work-Shy Elements. He's also a stand-up comedian and admitted that he was only joking when he announced his candidacy and then spent all his campaign money on beer. The result? Haugaard won, becoming Denmark's first independent legislator in 50 years. I don't know anything about politics, he said, but now I get an education with a full salary. Here's another quote. Oh, well, not a proverb, but a quote. Quote, I never vote for anybody. I only vote against. End quote. W.C. Fields. One of my favoriteest comedians. Comedic actors. I don't know. He's long dead now. So, to end this little teaser filler. It's filler. I'm sorry. It's just filler. It's just a stopgap. Or is that what that is? I don't know. It's to fill a gap in the mortar that is my shambles of a podcast. So, without further ado, here is a song I made using AI and stuff. That is for real, based on the the summary of the book I'm doing next. The next episode I'm writing right now. Well, I'm basically done writing, and I'll be recording probably either today or tomorrow. So, and then editing and all that. So, this is a song based on that, the summary of that book. So it's pretty wild. I made it a punk song because punk is fun. So here is that, and thanks for listening. So here it is.
From the ashes of Bush, the rains on low, Obama rolls up, it's on the whole show. Jimmy Bonnie's new ruins, no vision to find. The face don't sleep and been there all night. Miles away, but the rest of us play. Changing in the night like a bitch in the face. Bashes that ball, blood on the walls. A millionaire bullshit and rapping by the balls. American Carnage saw American decay. Marches in the air, shooting throw it away. American Carnage is the GOP ride. That was a run, that was a high. The old gods stand, now the new breed's born. Cultural shifts, tech disrupts, America's soul ripped and fucked up. How did we get here? Did we survive? Is this the death rattle? Are we alive? Decay in the mansion, resentment drink. The words of the body now say to my sleep. American Carnage saw American decay. Marches in the air, shooting thrown away. American Carnage, it's a GOP ride. That was a run, that was a high. It's American Carnage. American Carnage. American Carnage. American Carnage. You won't get very far with American Carnage. Oh, I live with American Carnage.
All right, that's the end of the gapper thing. Thank you for listening to this, if you listened to it, and I am sorry that I'm late with it again. I'm going to try doing these to punish myself into being more consistent and releasing more on a regular basis. Hopefully it helps, but I don't know. Thank you for listening, and I appreciate it. If you liked what you heard, then you can subscribe to Patreon and follow me on all the social medias and send me an email at eltonreadsabookaweek@gmail.com. And thank you. Thank you very much. Seriously. I appreciate you. Have a good, weekend, rest of the weekend. Or if it's not a weekend, rest of your next couple days, week, whatever, till your next day off. Have fun. And remember, try and read a book this week. Don't let them die out. All right. Thank you very much, very much, very much. Bye, 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 bye.